Namaste, everyone, and welcome to Anchor the Life. That's so weird. I thought that we're supposed to, improve our memory. Yes, you are. You can do super brain yoga, you can do energy healing techniques. There are many ways to improve your memory. But while you're trying to do that simultaneously to make sure that important things in your life don't slip through the cracks, write it down. Now, let me just dive into it rather than just saying, hey, just write things down. In every part of our life, we know that our mind is constantly generating thoughts, okay? Thought forms, as we call them. Is they're swimming in a cloud of these thoughts and emotions. It's just like you listen, focus, the more bulletproof technique. Think about it. How many times has it been that we know for sure we call a certain conversation with someone? It's, oh yeah, I remember it clearly. And then later on, as you have minutes, in a meeting, you're done. Oh, actually, there's a few things that are missing. So writing it down does many things. Number one, it forces you to be clear. Number two, as you write it down, you're engaging your physiology. It's something to think about something, to feel it, but when you engage your physical body, it anchors it into your consciousness. So writing things down is very, very important. Now, let's just use some of the scenarios in our lives to kind of illustrate this. Obviously, if you're in business, conversations. How many times has it been like you talk to someone, I thought you said that. If nobody wrote it down, what happens? We go, you're arguing about things that could have been prevented if somebody just wrote it down. That's why you have business meetings, they always have minutes, right? And this day and age, we don't have any excuses. We have so much technology to help us. A lot of you have recordings where it can be instantly transcribed. I know people where they have big corporate meetings, everything's recorded and then everything transcribed so that it's kept just in case there's any question. The CEO said this, the secretary said that, whoever, everything is in writing. That's in business. Relationships, same thing. Now, let's take it one step further. When it comes to relationship, when you say something to someone, they feel it. When you write it or you type it, it helps them have something in front of them that reminds them of it. For example, if you care about someone, as simple as, hey, how are you doing today? Right? True, you leave a message, you can do that, but sometimes people cannot read and listen at the same time because they're busy doing something else, but they just see a note from you, hey, how are you doing? It allows people to know you care. It goes without saying, relationship, love letters. True, you say something, but everybody, they have busy lives. So just one little note from someone showing that you care makes a whole lot of difference. Now, let's talk more on the spiritual path, because that is the focus of this channel. When it comes to spiritual path, let me just talk from personal experience. I've had the opportunity and a great, great privilege to be in the presence of a great soul, my teacher, Grandmaster Tuakok Sui. And he has taught me so many things, like all my co-disciples and students. And I remember that when I first took my first pranic healing class, 1988, there was so much information. I took as much notes as I can. And of course, I don't know about you, but my writing ain't the best. So I'm looking through this, I think, what the heck? I don't remember what I wrote. So after every class, every night, you have the full day class, every night I'll sit, look at my chicken scratches, and sit down, rewrite all of them. I still have them. To this day, I still have these that I look at. And I'm sharing this with you because what I thought was true, based on memory, when I look through my notes, I go, oh, I'm off. The color of a particular essential oil, which I thought was a certain color, was wrong. Because as we're so busy with life, what happens? You have so many thought forms flowing to you, right? So when I went through it, I go, Man, and I thought I remembered it properly. So I went back and looked at my notes again. So that's one. And I watched people who took notes. The ones who took notes, after the third or fourth day, when they ask questions, their questions are more relevant. Rather than somebody says, why do you have to clean before you energize? I'm going, we covered at the front the first day. But they're just sitting there. You see the people, they sit there, they don't take notes. They think they remember everything. Or people say, well, it's all in the book anyway. You see, when you write something down, even if you don't look at your notes again, it ingrained in your system a lot more. So personally, when my teacher gives me something, I write it down. When you do this meditation, this is the effect. When you practice this virtue, this is the effect. Write it down. And I notice that when I write it down and I go back and reflect on it, I would on the side I'll have notes. I'd say, I think what the teacher meant was this. And then I go, and how does it apply to my life? Now, just to give it context, I know a lot of you say, yeah, I only do that when I want to remember my dreams. Okay, let's break it down. Why do you write down stuff in the morning of your dreams? I know you guys are saying, oh yeah, of course, so I don't forget. So you're implying that it is a memory issue. No, it's not. If it's just purely for memory reasons, that means you should not remember anything that happened yesterday, the day before, or earlier. You wouldn't remember any of it. Because your dream only happened last how many hours your body slept. Make sense? If it's just a memory issue, then you should not remember anything that happened before the dream. So writing it down, yes, it does help you remember, but more importantly, it's as simple as this. Our brains and nervous system, unless you've had many years of training, spiritual training, meditational training, we're very fixated on the five senses. What you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you touch. So memory isn't exactly something physical. Right? It's just like when you're hitting the keys on a keyboard, the data you produce is showing up on the screen. But by itself, it's intangible. So here's what happens. In the morning, when you write things down, you are training your brain to register astral material, astral data, emotional data, things that happen beyond your brain and nervous system. And that's the nice thing about our brains compared to a computer. With certain techniques, you can upgrade your brain and nervous system, like meditation, spiritual practice, writing things down after you had a conversation, after you had a meditation, your dreams. All these are happening beyond the five senses. So when you write it down, you're forcing your mental, emotional, etheric, and physical bodies to work together to write things down so it ingrained in you. Make sense? Now, one side benefit of this is this too. If you ever taken Kriya Shakti, the science and art of materialization for prosperity and abundance, one of the techniques to materialize, actually I don't like to use the word manifest, it's overused on the internet. One of the ways for you to materialize what you want, meaning how to take something that is subtle like a thought, a feeling, and make it so material like finances, a car, a house, a job, something so material, is to write it down. And most of you have seen movies like The Secret and whatever manifestation courses, they always say write it down. At some point, people get so bored with it. Oh yeah, I read it before. But you don't realize it's actually very, very important. Even in the Kriya Shakti class. Why do you write it down? Number one, by writing it down, it forces you to be clear. How many times have you noticed that when you talk to someone face to face, you can say, well, I meant when you do this, it means that, you know what I mean? Like, in other words, they would look at your face, listen to the intonation of your voice, the words they use, and from there they come with a conclusion. Now, you notice when you type or you write, what happens? Assuming you want to make sense to the other person, it forces us to do what? To be clear. In fact, personally, I don't read long emails. I don't. My rule is if it does not fit on the screen, that I'm looking at, like a regular computer screen, unless it's very, very technical, I don't read it. Somebody sends me a long email, I look at it and go, forget about it. I send it to my assistant, okay, give me a summary. It's just like sending it to ChatGPT, give me a summary. You know why? If it's not technical and they cannot fit in the screen, you know what it tells me? They don't have clarity. They don't have clarity. I don't need to listen to you think. Make it clear. Tell me what you want to say. It should fit in that screen, unless it involves, specific formulas that require more space. It's just like in class. A lot of you have heard me in class, and somebody asks a question. I'm going, I say it as nicely as I can. I go, and your question is? Because they go around in a circle. You know why? There's no clarity. There's no clarity. Or sometimes they're asking a question, and I'm going, I don't need a novel to precede your question. I don't say that, of course. So I'm waiting. What is your question? In a similar manner, when you're writing to someone, you're forced to clarify what it is you want to get across. And you do that by what? You ask yourself the question, what is the outcome? Clarity is king or queen, whatever you want to use. The question is why? When you write things down, it forces you to say, what is it what I'm trying to say? What is my outcome? What am I trying to get across? What is it what I want to elicit from the other person? You write it down. And if you're doing your manifestation, materialization thing, and we share this with you in the Kriya Shakti course, it's like giving instructions to an assistant. If I tell my assistant, get me lunch, they might come back with things I don't want. Right? If I say, hey, get me lunch, they come back with, with a burger, with steak and everything. Well, I'm vegetarian. Oops, sorry. At the same time, you don't want to go the other direction where you go, by the way, I want you to get, for example, a vegetarian burger, and I want you to weigh only this many ounces or grams. I want you to get it from this particular restaurant, and I want you to make sure that it is this chef who cooked it, and I want it to be this temperature, and it has to be, at what astrological time. Get my point? So clarity is achieved by sitting down and saying, what is my outcome? What is it what I want? Right? So tell my assistant, okay, I want you to give me a vegetarian burger, and these are the possible restaurants you can get to. I want it to have this in it, not this in it. You just give them enough that they know exactly what I want, and I go, and I want this within 30 minutes. Like that. So when you're writing, it forces you to have clarity. Make sense? Now, when it comes to your spiritual practice, this is the one I want to get to, then we'll do a meditation. Our inner experiences stay in the inner world unless we write it down. Let me repeat it again. Our inner experiences, like you're meditating, go, oh, I got this insight. Or you're meditating, you experience this bliss. A lot of those just, when you finish your meditation, it's like having a dream. After the dream, you go, oh man, I remember I had this dream. And what happens? As the minutes go by, the hours go by, they fade. And so when you're spiritual experience, you don't write it down, they fade. Of course, there's a few of you who have photographic memory. They're great. You're great. You're wonderful. I'm not one of them. That's why you journal it. You write it down. In this meditation, I experienced this peace and love and this bliss. Or in this meditation, it was very apparent to me that I need to forgive this person, otherwise I'm just destroying my life. Things that are coming to you with such clarity when your aura is clean. Because when you're meditating properly, the aura is being purified, your vibration is going up, your spiritual connection is getting bigger. So your teachers, your guides, when they give you information, it doesn't have to go through noise. It doesn't have to go through noise. Your higher soul saying, hey, remember this, do this, don't do that. So it comes in optimum time with minimal interference. That's why it has happened many times. During meditation, something comes in. Then afterwards, I write it down, And then, as soon as I'm ready, I either go to the office or message my assistant, and she would say, "Hey, how did you know? I was just going to talk to you about that." I go, "Oh, I was meditating, and it came to me. And here's the solution." So writing it down helps you not only remember, it helps you assimilate, and it also gives you insights. That's that. So as we do this Anchor Live through, everything's recorded, but you will notice some of you, because when I travel, I would say, okay, go watch these other videos from the past. And you've told me, said, I watched the video 3 times, and now I'm getting more insights. So if you write things down, you have something to have a foundation of the teachings. As you use it over time, you have an application, right? You have insights from that, you write it down, and from there, your application widens. That's that. I'm sharing with this with you too, because I noticed with my teacher, Grandmaster Chokok Sui, he takes notes. He takes notes. So you taking notes does not mean you're not evolved. Some people, it's a stupid ego thing. Well, I'm so advanced, everything is in my consciousness. Yeah, good luck with that. So it's every argument you've ever had. So it's good thoughts, bad thoughts, everything mixed together like a salad. So writing it down forces you to say, okay, what's important, what's not important. Let's push aside what's not important, what's not related to the topic. Write it down. So when you're talking to someone, you have clarity. I'm sure all of you know, let me repeat what I shared a few minutes ago. I know what it feels like when you're talking to someone who's like all over the place. You heard that before? Like, what? It just drives me nuts. I'm in class, I'm trying to get the material to everyone, the content, make sure everybody understands, and somebody will ask a question and go, okay, yes, can I help you? And they say, well, yesterday this happened to me, and I was talking to my mother, and then I had a dream. I'm going like, in the end, to respect everybody else's time, it's like, and your question is, oh, yeah. It's like, wake up. Do you want to suggest, do you want to subject someone else to that? No. Exactly. So to be responsible for our time and other people's time, force yourself to be clear. And the easiest way to be clear is to write it down. Now, in ancient times, if it's not written, what happens? It's hearsay. When it's written down, if you watch movies, what was that? The movie, The Ten Commandments with remember Yul Brynner and Charlton Heston. If you ever watched that long time ago, it's a great movie. I think Yul Brynner is the Pharisees. So shall it be written, so shall it be done. When it's written, it's law. Now, to take it one step further, just for some of you who like to have extra information, in the Tibetan tradition, they have this thing called terma. Terma is treasures. And the way Master Cho explained it, he says, oftentimes the teacher is beyond the knowledge or the understanding of the people at a particular time in history. So the teacher, for them to make sure the teachings don't get lost while they're still in the body, they will actually write it out in scrolls, in whatever material that is available at that time, put it into jars, like the Dead Sea Scroll. And I remember Master Cho was saying, the teacher will project their consciousness into the future, let's say 1,000, 2,000 years later. My students will incarnate in this particular place of the world. So what do? They write it, they travel. That's how you always see of teachers traveling. And then out of nowhere, they'll bury, right? They bury stuff. And then many years later, the students who have the incarnate in that place will accidentally find it and go, oh, the teachings are resurrected. So that's how teachers preserve teachings. Another way teachers preserve teachings is by carving them into rock. So when they carve it to rock, you don't have to worry about the paper disintegrating. Make sense? Then some teachers, in order for the teachings to be preserved, They don't write it, they paint it, they draw it. I'll give you an example. I remember one time we were in class, my teacher said, do you know why in the Tibetan tradition they have so many deities? The senior goes, no, master, why? And I want to know, but at that time the students were a little bit, distracted. Come on. There was so much interest, so he ended up not talking about it. Well, I want to know, how come there's so many deities, you don't know who to pray to? So when we were out walking, I said, Master, I know they were not interested, but they didn't ask, but I want to know. To be able to understand concepts. So what the teacher does is the teacher draws or have somebody draws or paints a particular being. Oh, this is the god of love. This is the goddess of compassion. This is the goddess of wisdom. And then my message said, they don't look like that. Those beings don't look like that. What do? As they paint and draw them and put them and just say, okay, this is a goddess of love. What happens? Art is preserved, right? So as art is preserved, the teachings that are embedded are preserved. I'll give you an example. Go look for a painting. I think it's the white Tara, T-A-R-A, white Tara in Tibetan tradition. Okay, if you get a chance, go look at it. After this, we'll do a meditation. In there, you will notice that the image has white Tara with an eye on her forehead. Then you also notice she has eyes on her hands, and in those paintings, she will have eyes on her feet. Okay, so for ordinary people who don't know the inner teachings, oh, that's interesting. Oh, it's symbolic. That's that. Or they go, oh, this religion is kind of strange. They have eyes on their head, the hands and feet. That's that. But the eyes of people who know the inner teachings will study further and go, oh, it's actually reminding me that these eyes see physically, the physical eyes. So the eye that's turned upwards, standing up, that's your third eye. It's actually not here, it's up here, by the way. So that's why I keep saying, most people think the third eye is here. That's a mistake. The real third eye is up here. All right, so the third eye is standing up, compared to the eye, it's vertical. It's not a physical eye. It's basically as a reminder to say, that's how you perceive energy through sight. Sorry about that. The eyes in the hands represent the ability to feel or scan energy that we do in pranic healing. You scan the aura. So the eye, there are no eyes in the hand. They represent the hand chakras, the ability to scan energy. You see, the eye is an instrument of perception. So this is to perceive energy through sight, perceive energy through physical sight, energetic sight, perceive energy through touch. Now the question is, what is the deeper meaning of eyes on the feet of white Tara? Now obviously I can't reveal everything here online because I don't know who's listening. Some of you might get weirded out, but it's as simple as this. You and I, in order for the soul to grow, everything has to be recorded. It has to be recorded, okay? In other words, every physical action, every emotion, every thought we create, everything is recorded. The totality of this data is stored in the soul. They call it Akashic records, right? Now the word Akash in Sanskrit means sky. So it's literally your record, the soul's record in the sky. By the way, that's the original cloud storage. They just copied it in modern technology. Now, if you and I, each soul has a database of all our experiences, you have a record of your soul, you have a record as a family, a city has a record, right? A country has a record. Don't you think the entire planet also has a record? Without records, there's no karma. Write it down. Without data or information being saved, There's no karma. Karma basically means what? There is a connection between cause and effect. If the cause was never recorded anywhere, how could the effect come back? That's why there's a personal karmic record or personal akashic record, a family karmic record or family akashic record, city, country, and planetary, and solar, and galaxian, and anyway, I think you guys have, your brain is probably about to explode. So the feet, eyes with feet in the image of the white Tara, you learn in Arhatic Yoga, if you take Arhatic Yoga, it's basically a means for the soul to interface between the personal Akashic record and connect with the planetary Akashic record. So it's just like your feet have USB cables connecting to the planetary data bank. That's it. Now, all that to tell you that art is not just art. If you have eyes to see and you have a teacher who trained you, I'm not referring to me, teacher like my teacher, Grandmaster Chok Sui, what happens? Then you get to realize teachings are preserved for what purpose? So that the future generations can spiritually grow. And it's done through writing or through art. So you and I, we should not rely on our memory only. I mean, you do your best to recall, but by writing things down, we are helping not only us to evolve, but the people after us. That's why I'll finish with this. It's quite personal. Master Choa, before he left his physical body, even though his body was not doing well, of course, healing was being done, but that's for another time, he forced his body beyond any physical human being would do to write at least 13 books at that time. There's still some that have not been published. And he basically says so that whatever information he has to help humanity will not be lost. And with us as instructors, as we teach pranic healing, we share his teachings online or in person, we do our best to maintain that purity. So what was taught will not be lost. That's that. So going back, the topic for tonight was, or today, wherever you are, is the palest ink is still better than the best memory. You want to bulletproof your memory? Do your best, do whatever it takes to, supercharge your brain, but write it down. Write it down, write it down. That's that. Let's meditate. Put your hands on your heart, focus on your crown. I am that I am. I'm not the body, I'm not the emotion or the thoughts, I am the soul. I am a spiritual being of divine intelligence, divine love, divine power. I am that I am, the soul, the spiritual self. I am connected in one to my higher soul. I am connected in one to the divine spirit in me, the divine spark in me. I am a child of God, I'm one with God, I'm one with all. There is only oneness. Okay, just be still. We are one. Now open your hands in blessing. Be aware of your heart, your hands. We'll do the meditation twin hearts as taught to us by my teacher, Grandmaster Chok Sui. So just be aware of your heart. Imagine your heart blooming with beautiful pink light. Visualize that pink light from your heart flowing through your hands and blessing the entire earth. Feel the earth in front of you, the size of a little ball with beautiful pink light. We will use the prayer of Saint Francis of Assisi. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace in the world. And forgiveness. Where there's doubt, let me sow faith. Where there's despair, let me sow hope. Let's just recall people going through difficult times in their life, with their health, with their relationships, even their finances. May they be blessed with hope and with faith and a better life. So be it. Where there's darkness, let me sow light, sadness, joy. Just allow your heart to open even more and just let loving energy through your hands to bless every person, every being on earth with peace, with love, with forgiveness. Now be aware of your health. Stay there. Just be aware of your crown. Your crown is filled with so much golden light. Allow that golden light to just flow down through your hands and bless the earth. Fill the earth with beautiful golden light. Bless your family, your friends, your relatives, people you work with. Fill them all with beautiful golden light. Let that golden light spread throughout the city, the country, and the entire earth. Fill the earth with entire earth with beautiful golden light. Blessings be to all. Now be aware of your heart and your crown. Allow your heart and crown to just generate so much golden light. Let that golden light flow through your hands and bless the earth once more. Fill the earth with golden light. From the center of the heart of God, may every being on earth in the higher may all be blessed with great joy and happiness, with understanding, harmony, and divine peace. May all be blessed without exception, so be it. Just be aware of your heart, your crown, your hands. Flood the earth with peace, with love, with joy, with inner healing. May all be healed of any pain, sorrow, or suffering, so be it. May all be blessed with understanding, harmony, goodwill, and the willingness to do good, so be it. Blessings be to all. Blessings be to all. Now gently lower your hands. Keep your eyes closed. Keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Just be still. A few inches from your crown, imagine a beautiful golden flame. That golden flame, that golden light doesn't have to be clear. It's there. Now be aware of the love within your heart. Send a stream of love from your heart up to your throat, to the center of your head, and into that golden flame. Stay there. Just be still. Just be aware of the beautiful golden light. Be aware of the inner peace and stillness within. Om. Be aware of the golden light. Simultaneously be aware of the silence and nothingness between each Om. Om. Be still. Be aware of the inner stillness and that brilliant light. Maintain that stillness. Will increase the frequency. You don't have to do anything. Just be still. Here we go.